Welcome to the Coaching Coach Podcast. We are back and we are live once again. That fella right beside me, he is the one and only, the offensive guru, the man that created the spread offense. And don't let nobody else tell you anything different.
News to me.
He is our offensive coordinator. He is the one and only Coach Benji. I am the defensive coordinator. Man, I haven't had 2-3. I've had some bad nights, and sometimes when you give up a lot of points, you just have to go ahead and just shake it off and go back to the drawing board. But I am your defensive coordinator. I am Coach March, and what we make up the Coach and Coach Podcast. Make sure that if you're following us online right now, we are live on Facebook. We are live on TikTok. So for our TikTok listeners, make sure that you hit that screen. Let us know you with us. I've been getting called out for not giving people shout outs. So my eyes are glued tonight. So if I see somebody, they keep calling me out and saying I'm not doing a good job of shouting.
Coach, I'm hearing you shout people out all the time, man. You gotta engage with the chat, and I'm not good at engaging with the chat. I have notes in front of me. I have, I don't see the Facebook stuff. I only have a couple.
In other words,
resources. So it's my fault. Coach Mark's over there. He's fully engaged with the chat. If anything, it's me. So, y'all take it easy on Coach Marks, man. He's carrying this thing from a production standpoint. He don't need y'all calling him out.
Yeah, and Coach, it'd be my students, man. They the one that's calling me out. My students calling me out. I said, boy, I tell you, man. And threatening me, Coach, talking about they ain't gonna listen to the show anymore. I said, well, you better. And I actually went to try to find one because I know I shouted out somebody the last time, but they missed it. But once again, if you missed the live, you can always hear us. And we want to encourage our listeners, go back and listen to the show, man. When you riding to work or you riding to school, you on the school bus,
headed to a game.
Just whatever you got going on, man. Go to Spotify, go to Apple Podcasts, go to Amazon, go to anywhere you listen to anything on your podcast, and you just type in Coach and Coach Podcast. When you type that in, boom, you're gonna see that picture. Let me move out the way. Boom, you're gonna see that picture right behind me, and then you will be able to not ever miss a show. And you don't want to miss no show, Coach. Even today, one of the teachers came by and she said she was in her vehicle and it startled her that she heard my voice. And I was like, okay, you need to give me some more content on there. But she said she was listening to her podcast and then it went straight to our podcast because she's a subscriber. So she said it kind of took her for a loop because it came right in. So hey, if that's happening to you, that's a good thing. You ought to want your screen and you ought to want that stuff to pop up on you. But once again, if you want to catch our show, don't ever miss a show. You can find it on whatever you listen to your podcast. You click on that button, man, and I'm telling you, it will notify you every time. It notifies me all the time. All the time. So we are in effect right now. Let me type something. Coach, what's been going on?
Just another week in the Lane Kiffin saga, drama, whatever you would like to call it, and staying busy working, staying busy trying to stay ahead of the latest in the breaking this news. But
oh man,
just
occupied all our time, man.
Yeah, it has been time consuming. We don't have to talk about it, but I was the joke of Facebook today with my wife's post. We don't have to talk about that.
Well, yeah, before we get into that, Coach.
Context matters.
Yeah, I was, at first, when I heard the first part of it, I was like, okay, why is he talking about things in his toolbox? And I was like, I had that response to it. So I just kept on. I went back and I rewound it. And apparently my co-host needs some counseling.
Nah, no counseling needed. I
That's a
I'm the
thing
one
going
that
on.
it's my fault for not asking more questions as to why
Yeah, you just can't answer, man.
Carrie's curious about things from that I use during the day or
She's
on the
social
weekend,
media
whatever.
savvy, man. You gotta be on your P's and Q's on that.
I just answered questions honestly. She twisted my words. That's all I have to say about it.
Oh, so it's fake news. Is that what you're
Fake.
saying?
It's totally fake news. I,
We're
I
gonna hey, we're
hope
gonna
that
take
everyone
the Benji
believes
files.
it.
I'm gonna have to go to Congress and get the Benji files released.
There'll be nothing there, Coach. It's all good.
Well, man, we are back, man, and like I said, we have been I don't know what you want to call it. We've been and everybody know that that's going to be the first thing that we talk about because there is no Mississippi outside of Southern Miss. I believe there is no Mississippi football this week on the college level. Well, not on the in SEC play. Let me change that. My apologies to my Jackson State people, my Valley State, my Southern Miss, and my Millsaps and my Bell Havens and all of them. But on the SEC side, there are no games in the state of Mississippi. So the news have been what it is. Everybody, we've actually been talking about it all week. I had a very reliable source that gave me some information that relies. When I say reliable source, I'm talking about boots on the ground. And I ain't talking about the song. I'm talking about somebody that got boots on the ground that can physically verify some things for me. So, Coach, um, as you know, I do want to I want to pick it up where Lane was on. He was on Pat McAfee show, and just typical, and
It was not typical, Coach. It was not.
yeah,
I
but
watched every press conference from that man from 2020 to now. Uh, the energy that he had in that press conference, I thought it was fake. And the only thing I would say was typical was the fact that it was a bunch of non-answers. But it
but that's kind of what I meant.
it just seemed
Just
very and I'm sure you're ready to go into it. But the thing that stood out the most to me, and I hope that anybody who is a language expert out there, that would know the body language of Lane Kiffin, they can come in and defend the opposite take. But I would say that that's the strangest, most uncomfortable Lane Kiffin I've ever seen. Like he was forced to look happy, uh, because honestly, I think it was a PR stunt for damage control. But that's just me.
it was so weird, and nothing got answered, and it was to me it was almost like, well, let me prove to y'all that I don't take no. Everything still revolves around him. And that has been my biggest problem with everything. I was joking with one of my buddies that's an LSU fan, and then he kind of made a comment. He was like, "Don't be mad because we about to get. You can have them at this point. You can have them because if this is the mess I got to continue to go through, then I would much rather him go. I, before we get into it, Coach, have the damage been done so bad that it's irreversible?
It's not irreversible. I think that there's damage done there's clearly damage done, but you go with, if he, they're having a meeting tomorrow. We'll get into all
Yeah.
the rest of it that's to come. And I'll give you my take on what I believe is the possible outcome.
Mm-hmm.
But as of right now, say he coaches the Egg Bowl, wins the Egg Bowl. At, the Sunday after the Egg Bowl was to sign an extension, makes a playoff run. Winning cures everything. They're gonna match up. They're gonna be a favorite. Got hand raised guy in the room. What's going on, Coach? Go ahead.
That's the second time I heard that comment today. I was talking to my good friend Gillespie over there in Calhoun City. We was talking, and he said winning cures everything. But this is why I say winning don't cure everything in this situation. In 2022, We was
I was
doing
about to get to it, Coach.
and now
I was getting to your point.
that dance increased. So we're 10-1. And even like winning cures all, I get it, but with our fan base, I have a good example. Mike Bianco, he won a national championship. Brought the first national championship of a major sport at Ole Miss. In this era, I'm like you. I don't count the era when we was all segregated and everything. I'm talking about
The modern era.
The modern era, and he brought the first national championship. And the moment in year 2 after the championship, when he did not have the season that everybody, we were still asking for his job. And here it is, a coach who really has not accomplished anything. And we're just like, oh man, please don't leave. Like, we're begging. And that is what bothering me right now. We're begging.
But I don't think we are, Coach. I think that the public or the Ole Miss fan base, I think, has turned to a fatigue that they are ready to move on because it is rumored, almost sourced, that Ole Miss doesn't have to go to a John Summerall and get a Power 4 head coach or a Group of 5 head coach to move up to the Power 4. There are sitting Power 4 coaches that's interested in your job.
So
the point that I will say,
before you go on, somebody confirm what you brought up, and they hadn't heard that from me. Somebody else has confirmed what you planted over there out west. Said his eyes are watching this.
Yeah, and if you want my honest opinion, I believe that the next podcast we'll be doing, well, I wouldn't say the next, but I would say within the next 3 podcasts we'll be talking about a hot board. I will be shocked if Lane Kiffin is the head coach at Ole Miss next year. Absolutely shocked. Clip it now if he signs an extension. You can gladly, that's engagement for us. You can gladly come roast me on my TikTok live or whatever. If you want to come in the chat here on the actual podcast and roast me, you can. But I would be absolutely shocked.
I'm with you.
If Lane Kiffin returns as the head coach at Ole Miss.
I'm with you.
So to finish my point and agreeing with you, the point that you made, the damage has been done. Winning will cure it till we're back in this position in a year or two, because we absolutely will be. And I think at some point, especially if, say, things go scratch, you go win the Egg Bowl next week. If the bracket started tomorrow, like as it's currently set up, if the playoffs started tomorrow, you would be a favorite over Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I think early betting lines or offshore lines or the people that put that together had you as a 4.5, 5-point favorite. You then would match up with Texas A&M, who I think out of the top 4 that's listed right now is the best matchup for you.
Yeah.
The path is clear for you to make a run past the second weekend or the quarterfinals of this. So if he was to re-sign it, and I think the fight that is coming will be over whether or not he's. I don't think the fight's if he's re-signing. I think the fight will actually be over if he's allowed to coach in the playoffs or not. But say he does re-sign and he gets that type of bracket where he can make it to a semifinal game potentially. Of course, you can fix some hurt relationships, but I'm telling you now, those relationships will be strained again in a calendar year. And I'm not talking about fans. Like I think we've proven this week that you've built so much equity with a place, and I'm not just talking about administration, boosters, fans are included in that. I'm sure there's been total transparency and conversation. I mean, we have it sourced that there Keith Carter has at least done hot yoga with Lane Kiffin twice this week. He's at least they're going to have a huge conversation tomorrow. He's come out publicly and said they have a great relationship. My thing would be if you've hurt your reputation anywhere, it is with the fans. And I don't think he's not looking into any of that, nor should he. I mean, if he was a 6-6 coach, we'd be calling for his head probably. And as a coach, you would know this. You can't listen to fans, but that's where the damage is done. And I don't. And that, to me, I think if there was a group of people, that's the group that's going to be the hardest to get back on your side. But I still will stand by the statement that winning cures things. And if they were to get the right draw, make it past the quarterfinals, a lot of this will be forgotten.
But I think the diehard, the ones that has flown with Ole Miss, people like us, I think those people are the one that's going to be the younger generation. This generation is different. We are microwave. No, it ain't even microwave anymore. We are air fryer. We're air fryer.
I tell my my son all the time that you and Kiffin's made the quote that these are the good old days, so enjoy them. I tell my son that every day because I grew up in the I was in the third grade when, sorry, coach, I know you're going to get on to me, but I was in the third grade when Eli Manning won a Cotton Bowl. And there was a long time in between that
really
that we went back to the Cotton Bowl. And then there was a long time, Hugh Freeze, whatever with Hugh Freeze. But to get to the point where we've had sustained success that
But I think the spectrum of college football helped that. The word college football is right now, where it's almost like, I remember when JUCO, I remember, back in the day when we was in school, if Northwest was we were in Northwest District, and if Northwest was recruiting you, you couldn't go play for another JUCO. They had to release you. So they had dibs on the area that was represented. If you was in the Northeast area, you had to go play at Northeast. If you was in the ICC area, you had to go play at ICC. You had to play where your area was that you were in. And once they released that and said that JUCO, you can go sign with whatever JUCO team you want to sign with, it shifted the balance of power. That's when you saw East Mississippi come out of nowhere and become a juggernaut, because East Mississippi was less, that they had their area was not pulling talent. So now once they released that and they had an opportunity to go get other players from other places in the state, it shifted the balance of power. I think where college football is right now have helped it out more than just the brute of just, because like I said a couple of weeks ago, you don't have to. Good example, Stupid A. Smith. I don't know if you saw his comment, but he made a comment saying that the brothers don't want to go to Ole Miss. Like, man, the brothers don't even want to fool with you, but I don't even want to get started on him. But that is something that people got to factor in. That back then, it was a struggle because of all of the stuff that was going on. But now, all you got to have is the money. If you got the money, you can get the players. You just need a coach that's competent.
But you have to evaluate it. You have to evaluate them right. I mean, you can look at LSU. They spent a ton of money on that roster that they have this year currently, and it's not worked out for them. There's other things that go to it, but the money is a great.
Brian Kelly wouldn't have. I mean, I think they jumped the gun on him anyway. He was at Notre Dame, and Notre Dame, it's well documented. All you got to do is win 2 games, and you're in. And he parlayed that into getting the LSU job. I still think LSU jumped the gun. I think they could have waited for Orgeron, but I think Orgeron didn't care. I mean, he just won your national championship. So I think those programs jumped the gun so much that it makes coaches look like, well, maybe they're just not successful or anything, or whatever the case may be. I mean, crap, look what they did to Les Miles. I mean, it made it look like he didn't know what he was doing when he actually did. So I just think the spectrum now, you get a competent coach, a staff that can evaluate, because think about it, we've hit on some people, but we also missed on some.
Yeah,
we've also missed on some. So Sometimes it's the luck of the draw. Who knew? First of all, if we thought Chambliss was this good, he would have been starting in the first place.
Yeah.
It took an injury to get there. Now, Lacey, I told you.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started on them guys, Coach, because I think that they should have been the focal point of, like, if you're going to do interviews with Pat McAfee and you're going to do things, you have award finalists or semifinalists or wherever we're at.
Chambliss is in the top 10 of the Heisman. Coach.
This was a great opportunity to plug your guys,
all about you,
plug your program, and we didn't get there. But I'll respond to Rebel fans that Carter needs to demand an answer at meeting tomorrow or tell him to hit the door. I don't think he's going to demand an answer. I don't think we're going to learn anything from it tomorrow. But I will say I think
it's going to get done.
I think you're going to find out whether the stipulations of, because everybody's talking about like what's the contractual obligations. Which I think he already knows, but I think it will be reiterated that you are not coaching in the playoffs without an extension signed. I think it'll be reiterated that we would like to have an answer, like we need this answer before this date, and then I think there's going to be an option, coach. It's like, if you're not willing to give us this answer, here's the door. I actually think that'll be, but it won't be demanding of him. It'll just be like, look, these are options we can discuss. These are, we have a plan in place where life will go on with or without you at Ole Miss football. So here's the options to how we can get this done with you, and here's what we would like if we're going to move past this point. Because I'm telling you now, if he doesn't, I don't see this getting drug out past Sunday of the Egg Bowl. I think Florida will be willing to move on at that point. They don't have an answer. I think Florida's out anyway, but I'm telling you, they're going to try to keep staying in the hunt. But I think once it gets past the Sunday after the last game of the season, they'll be done if they haven't officially been told already. And then I think, as much as LSU says they're willing to wait, I think that's tough if you do, because you're going to get to the point, like, if for some reason Kiffin wins the battle of he gets to coach through the playoffs and they do make it past that January 1 or 2 game, there's only going to be 2 jobs in the country open.
Yeah.
It's going to be LSU and Ole Miss. And I don't care what they say. I just don't think you can be willing to take the risk, even if you believe you have him. I don't think you can take the risk and not have a backup plan.
That's also on the Ole Miss side. Coach, you've been a coach a long time. And me and you both, we done had great players, we done had good players, we done had mediocre players. And if a great player feels, or a good player feels, that he can continue or she can continue in a manner that's disruptive, but they need me. Lane is acting like one of those players that, like, okay, I'm going to draft. I don't care how much damage this do. All of that miss me with, I'm just trying to make the best decision for my family. Okay, well, make it. Make it, because it's not just one school you're screwing up. It's 3 schools you're screwing up.
Coach, I don't believe that I'll say this. I honestly believe that he does not see this as a distraction to his team currently.
Because they're not going to publicly say nothing, Coach. They have secretly leaked things, but they're not going to publicly. They interviewed Will Eccles. They interviewed Stringer. I think it was Stribling, and they interviewed another guy. They know how to get up there and say what, the PR team is great at Ole Miss. They know what to say.
Well, I'm not saying that behind the scenes that things aren't going on, because we haven't reported that they are.
You're saying he don't think
I'm telling you, he does not believe it. I think he's actually telling. I think he is actually telling you the truth when he says, I don't discuss these things during the season, which is a lie. It's a lie, but in the way the fan views it, he doesn't view it the way you do, is what I'm getting at. Because he's clearly lying, saying he doesn't talk about other jobs when he's got planes landing in other cities.
A
But
reliable source. I'm talking about a solid source that visually saw him in Baton Rouge on campus. Visually. This is not no rumor. This is not no hearsay that so for you to be, and this was after the Pat McAfee interview.
yeah, I'm not here to say that that's you know, I'm not here to say that it's crazy that you don't send your family out to do some recon. We've seen Nick Saban send Miss Terry out to do recon when he was at Michigan State.
So can we be mad at Junkins now that he was trying to find somewhere to go?
Oh no, I mean yes, because
right on par.
I think we win a championship. I think Ole Miss wins a championship with him last year if he's on the roster.
It seemed like he was on par with what he's being taught. So with where we at right now, and chat, yes, that source was 100% solid. It was 100% solid. So even in this situation, I know Rebel Fan just said demand. I think there got to be some type of insinuation of a demand. Not a blatant one, but it got to be when we was reporting.
They've already done that, Coach. They've already done that. When they said they wanted clarity the Sunday of the Egg Bowl, they've done it. You know, the national media twisted it into an ultimatum.
Well, they doing
there's semantics to this, but
they're doing the university a disservice then by allowing him to continue, because now this is not about Ole Miss anymore. It's about Lane Kiffin, and that's a problem. If you represent Ole Miss, that's who you represent, and if you're going to continue to let this coach drag this circus out, and then it's no longer it's now about Lane Kiffin. It's not about Ole Miss. Now all the stories that you heard about him, now they seem true.
No, we heard it Tuesday night on the rankings release. You know, they were like, it'd be pretty boring in Oxford right now. You would think of them as the Alabamas of the world that just handle business, and it'd be quiet over there and kind of boring, but it's not because of the stuff going on with Kiffin.
It gotta be. I gotta be the spotlight, and I think that was the problem. He wants the spotlight. Nick Saban is somebody. I think it's somebody he reveres. I think it's somebody that he truly wants to emulate, and I think his moves will be. And here's what's crazy, Coach. If he do this, the same fans that criticize LeBron will be okay with this. That's what's funny about it. But he wants to be Nick Saban so bad that he's willing to do whatever it takes because he won't. But they are whether he want to be or not. He's not him. He's not him.
And I just look at it as take the Florida job and the LSU job. They've been great jobs in the past. They've proved to make championship coaches out of, like, think about it, like from a coach's perspective. Coach, you're a coach. You want to tackle every task at hand. Coaches want to do that. What do you think he like? Because I'm gonna tell you what I would think about it if I was in the situation. My ego would allow me to think it. If Ed Ogeron won a national championship at LSU, I'm winning 10.
Yeah, that's what he thinks.
And
if he
they
can do
are the type of job that would probably now I do think USC was the dream job. And he walked in, he took it in a time where, I don't know, but no one combats it when people say he didn't know that program was about to go on NCAA sanctions and stuff. I don't know. I would feel like as bad as the sanctions were, I can't believe that there wasn't a little bit of
chatter,
something to let him know. And I think if none of that would have happened, I think he would either be in the NFL now because he would have had a great run at USC, or he would still be at USC type of thing. I think that was the dream job. And now I think if you go back to, if you're going to get back to what is close enough to what he believes is a dream job, two of them, it came open at a time where you're sitting at 10-1, and I think he's truly torn. I think I right now, if you made me guess, I still don't know if he really knows what he wants to do, but I would definitely lean that it's LSU.
Keith Carter said something when they went out to find a coach. They said we need to find somebody that's gonna change the landscape. Okay. Now, if it's time to move on from it. The landscape had been changed. You got your. I mean, you understand NIL now, and this was a good coach to get a better understanding of how to navigate this new era of football. Now that you understand it, you know what type of coach that matches. But if we continue to wait, we won't get that coach. But that's why I say that I think it's better for both parties at this point that Lane goes on to LSU or Florida and Ole Miss go and get a coach for where they at now. I think it's better for both.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And I think, clearly Walker Jones and company have done a great job on the NIL side of things. You clearly have great cohesiveness from Keith Carter and Glenn Boyce. And you clearly have, a fan base that's united. Like, everything's just united.
Yeah.
So, Lane Kiffin could sign an extension tomorrow, and I think everybody would be happy. I just want people to understand that I think you'll be fine if the worst, whatever in your mind is the worst thing that could happen. I don't think it's as bad as you think it is. I think you could go out. I would be curious if it doesn't work out in the way that, if it doesn't work out in the way that Ole Miss fans would want him to stay at Ole Miss. I think that you swung. I would be curious to see, you swung for the fences to get him. Are you going to swing again? Like, what do they view the program now? Just like Zero says, relax and enjoy the ride. That's my main thing. Like, the focus should be on the fact that you have a 10-1 team on the verge of hosting a playoff game.
It's not. It can't be. Whether we want it to be, we can't even get to the. We can't even with us. And we eventually gonna parlay to that. But even us, he has sucked up so much of the media's time with this. Whether he know what he's doing or not, he's sucked up so much time that, in my mind, even if I had a kid right now that he's visiting, I'm telling my kid, hold on, right now, I don't know, because this circus right now, I don't know if I want you a part of that, because, and that's where we at right now. But the thing is, that's a great point. Ole Miss have proven that we can match with other programs with salary.
Yeah, and just to answer Matthew's question, why would he leave something he built from the ground up? I'm telling you, I said it in previous podcasts. Go check the podcast out. I know that news will break every day and those won't seem as important, but go check them out. I said it, did I say it Sunday or last Thursday, that at the end of the Georgia game, he said it in a press conference that they were a few players short. It's my understanding that behind closed doors, he named the players that they tried to get in the portal exactly that he thought if they had them on campus, they would have won that game. And he believes that it had nothing to do with money and everything on what name was on the uniform and on the side of the helmet. And if it comes down to it, I'm just telling you, he's leaving Ole Miss because he believes that he will get those guys at a LSU or a Florida. And he believes that if he matches money with anybody, he is going to have a better opportunity to bring them to that program than Ole Miss.
Let me ask you this.
That to me, though, that argument falls flat because you put 8 guys in the NFL last year. that you recruited to your program. Sometimes you're just going to miss.
You said Junkins was probably the key to us getting to probably the national championship, right?
I would say they were a running back away. I'm saying that
very close.
If Judkins still leaves, they if they did anything last year, they misevaluated it on the offensive line and in the running back room. I do think Judkins was a type of talent that would have overcame the misevaluations on the offensive line, and it would have made the roster complete enough to you would at least beat Kentucky and been in the show. I'll say that much.
So we had Junkins on campus and did not feel like what he was asking for was worth it, and let him walk. So
I think
his argument of we was a few players. You had players that, once again, it goes back to your point. You're gonna hit some and you're gonna miss some. Quit blaming it on we missed a couple of players. No, you had one and you let him walk.
Well, I know we're getting completely off the rails here, but I think the Judkins thing was more of. I think there was things going on in the locker room, and there was a price tag that once it got past it, they were like, it's not worth what it's going to bring.
Dart was more valuable to them than Junkins was.
Yeah.
So they went ahead and rolled with Junkins. And I understand that, but for him to use, we were just a few players away and they didn't come because of the shield. You had somebody here that could have got you there, but you valued another, and he's infamous for playing these mind games with players.
And I'm telling you, I know nobody wants to hear it right now because of this, this is really getting off the rails, but I see in the chat talking about Bentley. I'm telling you, Bentley did not play because I believe they thought he was liability in pass protection. And I know that you could say, well, you could bring him in to run the ball. Maybe they had a deal where they didn't want to, you have to break tendencies. You don't want to see we're only, Bentley's coming in to run play. I just don't see how and I'm not saying Bentley's wouldn't have made a difference, but I'm not competitive enough if he's not causing a problem in my locker room and it's an on-field thing that could be coachable or coached up to be better, and he's the difference in me winning a game or losing the game, I'd have found a way to get on the field. So, but I believe that's why you didn't see a lot of Bentley. Yeah.
He's in the NFL right now.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, we saw him break 290 yard. I mean, he didn't get but 15 carries on the year. 2 of them busted for 90-yard touchdowns. And I know I'm exaggerating a little bit, but
so the highest of this level said he belongs.
Yeah,
the highest of the highest. The NFL is the highest of the level, and they said this running back belongs here.
But you can point at it with Kiffin, since I guess it does fit talking about him. You can point at it with a lot of things with Kiffin, or a lot of guys with Kiffin. He has his guys. They run an NFL-style model of offense where they don't sub a ton. And, I mean, we've kind of seen it with some other guys, too, that if you ever got on the bad side of him, you sat on the bench for a while.
I wonder what Plumlee did, because he could not get into the game. Matt Corral threw 6 interceptions one game. Was it 5 or 6? It was a lot.
Yeah, he threw 5 interceptions at Arkansas,
and he didn't budge. He stayed right there with him. Man,
when he gets his 11 guys on offense, there may be a few that sub in or whatever now and then, but when he gets his 11 guys, I mean, go look at the snap counts for the top 11 guys on the offense.
A lot,
and then go look at how it falls on the role player side of the roster.
So my question with this, and somebody made a point about this, and I give social media, I give the fans a kudos for this, because you're going to have to do something, because now they're trying to really push him. Where do Cunningham fall in this? Because, I mean, all I heard was how great this kid was. And
well, my understanding was...
you both have saw him. I think, didn't we coach against him?
I did.
I think we did.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we was there. He played and was gone after the first.
Yeah.
I think it was halftime. He was done.
My understanding with Cunningham is that, highly I believe there's frustrations there of not playing. I don't think it's ever been. We won't know until the portal opens. I don't think you're not seeing anyone saying well, I'm not sitting out. If you're not playing, you're sitting out anyway. So could be in the portal, could not be. I've heard that it's not like damaged to the point that they wouldn't be willing to let him, or he wouldn't be willing to come back under the right circumstances or whatever. I'm not sourced on anything,
Yeah.
but my understanding that I am sourced on is he's definitely been frustrated.
Yeah, I bet. Can you imagine? You do all this to get me here, and I don't think he got 20 snaps on the season.
I I would probably go lower than that.
Probably lower than that.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, you know what? You made a good point. Ole Miss is doing something amazing right now, and and I think this is a good segue into for all you Lane fans, that's for you, and for those that don't believe,
if you wanna go, baby, go ahead and walk out the door. But one thing that you gotta remember, one monkey don't stop, no shoulders. Train gonna keep on rolling.
we gonna keep on rolling, Coach. And now let's talk about the 10-1 Ole Miss Rebels. We got an opportunity next week to do something amazing. Now, where with the bye week this bye week, it came at the best and the wrong time. if that makes sense.
Yeah, it did, because Kiffin has soaked up all the oxygen out of the air, and the story revolves around him. It came at a great time because, and I said it Sunday, I think, Daquan Wright is going to be a huge piece of this offense going forward. And
the
shoulder's clearly bothering him.
Yes.
And then I thought, not only in like a pass rush situation, but I just thought from a run stopping ability, William Eccles going down the other night, I thought that was when Florida Florida did make the adjustment to say, hey, let's lean on them. And maybe, they were going to move that way in the game either way, but he goes out, they start leaning on us, having some success in the run game. I think there's a couple more. I mean, I still think they're really healthy for this time of the year, but it did come, the bye did come at a good time from that standpoint.
Yeah. And we did need to get healthy, because you can start to see that the attrition of the year is starting to wear down. 11 games, that's a lot of games. It's a lot of games, and you had one bye week, and if you're playing in the SEC, every game is going to be a knockdown, drag out, punch in the face, shake it off, and punch again and shake it off. So and I know we'll talk about this more probably on Wednesday night, because Thursday is Turkey Day, and I'm gonna sit and watch my football that we'll talk about later on, my NFL. But what are some things that you're seeing that do you think State to spark their team? Do you feel State in this bye week make the change at quarterback?
From my understanding, Jeff Levy kind of didn't dodge the question, but didn't give the answer that the fans want. He didn't necessarily say that you would see Kamario Taylor. I do think if there was anything concerning, if I'm Ole Miss going into next week, because everybody's like, well, what if Kiffin's distracted? I'm telling you right now, how distracted can you be to not turn around and hand the ball off to Lacey? Because I think that's the keys.
That's the
I
key.
think he's, like Dustin says, he's going to run all over State. I'm telling you. Ahmad Hardy went over 300. I don't know what like Coach said, I don't know what his stat line would come out, as far as going over under, but I'd probably hit the over.
Yes.
For me, where I would worry from it is if he starts defensively. They do like pushing the ball vertically down the field, and he has the arm and he's accurate enough to do it. I think he's a better passer than Blake Shapen. I know that. I think some of the reasons why he's not on the field maybe is like, are they worried about, say he's only a package quarterback. So if we went out there and rolled the whole offense out there to him, are there plays that we call in and he may not know the progression, the read,
but
whatever.
You're in the bye week.
Yeah. But I think he's a more physical runner, clearly, that could give you trouble. And I think he's got a heck of an arm on him. I think that if there was concern, especially we've seen it week in and week out, the weak link on the Ole Miss defense is in the secondary.
Yes, it is.
That's where I would be concerned. And the concern's not only the fact that, the touchdown pass that DJ Lagway threw the other night. I mean, they played man and he burnt, I don't know who the receiver was, and their starting receivers are out. Like those were backup receivers, and he ran right by him.
That was the one that you called right when he was dragging across before the ball was even up. You said he's toasted.
Yep. And then, but not only that, but then I mean, we could draw up at least, I would say, coach, 2 plays a game where they're blowing a coverage. Yeah. I mean, at least 2 defensive blown coverages a game.
We just
ain't
had no competent quarterback.
You go back to Georgia, you could probably the average would probably go higher just in that game alone. But that's where my concern would be going in to next week, and we'll have plenty of time. You know, we're gonna have a show Sunday, I'm assuming. We'll have a show Wednesday night to break all that down.
Yeah.
But you know,
are you prepared?
Like they say, Kiffin and Ole Miss have really performed amidst chaos. I think this is a resilient group. I think this is a group that's a pretty tight knit group. And, you know, we are hearing reports that some prominent players are starting to become frustrated. Some of the coaches are frustrated because this coaching staff, this is their livelihood.
Yeah.
You know, that's
and you're playing around with it.
But
do you prepare for 2 quarterbacks? Just basically, do you just get ready for both?
I think you have to, because Shapen's not been shown that he can stay healthy enough that you don't see Taylor at some point. So I think you definitely do a little bit of preparing. You're going to prepare for it on the goal line, I think, you know, some goal line situations. But I don't know how locked in, and I say this jokingly because obviously you want your team locked in. It's a joke, guys. But I'm serious. If you hand the ball to Lacey, I don't see how you lose.
Here's what I'm afraid of, because Ole Miss this year, one of the consistent things that I've seen Ole Miss do is play to their competition. If the competition was here, Ole Miss matched them. If it was here, Ole Miss matched them. And what I'm afraid of, you get into Starkville and drop your level to Mississippi State, and you'll find yourself in a dogfight, and before you know it, you looking up and State is at the 22-yard line about to kick a game-winning field goal.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, have we played a 2-score? Well, no, I'll take that back. We've played some 2-score Egg Bowls in the Lane Kiffin era. I think the first one and second were 10-point wins. But if you go to 2022 to 2025, which I guess last year was a 2-score win too, but it was, you know, that game was in doubt in the fourth quarter. It's not like they've blown Mississippi State off the field. The games have been close. I assume that it's going to be for a minute anyway, because I agree with you. I think that they find ways like say you're the better team, but you go get cute in the red zone. Mm-hmm. You find yourself in a ball game
run a reverse,
things like that, you know. And there's a possibility that you do find your way in a game with them. But I just think if I've got 5 on my team, I just feel really good about it, because he seems to be the one. You would think the amount of carry, because I think he leads the country in carries by a lot. You would think that he would be slowing down, and to me, he reminds me of like a Derrick Henry, where he's speeding up.
I'm pulling that up now.
Hey, while you do that, talk to him for a second, because I got to step out for a second, but I'll be right back.
One thing about Lacey, and one thing that I see about Lacey is he do have that Derrick Henry quality that as the game progresses, he tends to pick up. Just Lacey's stats on the season. Let's see. He's second. He's second to Anthony Hankerson at Oregon State. Well, no, they're tied for first with 231 carries. Lacey is third in the country behind Hardy from Missouri and Cook from Jacksonville State. He's 200 yards behind them, but he has 1,136 yards. But he's leading the league. He's leading the nation in touchdown. Lacey has 19 touchdowns, which, you know, makes sense that he's a semifinalist for the Doak Walker Award, which something we should have been talking about instead of talking about his selfish coach. But Lacey is the key to winning that Egg Bowl. Don't play with it. Don't mess around with it. Give 5 the ball. Make them load that box up, and then you let Chambliss get a couple of passes over the top. But Chambliss, I don't think, should be the focal point of the Egg Bowl. I think Lacey need to be that focal point, because when you look at the defenses on the season, let's just look at the team defenses on the season. Rushing. Mississippi State is ranked. Let me pull that up. Coach, he's tied for first in carries. He's third in yards, and he's first by 3 touchdowns. Which that I don't see why if he has a decent game, then there's no reason that he shouldn't be the Doak Walker award winner.
I think he should be in the Heisman conversation. I don't think they beat Florida without him. I don't think they beat South Carolina without him. Or at least I'm not saying they wouldn't win the game, but I think it's a lot steeper hill to climb without him in the backfield.
Coach, look at his numbers. He's third in yards. He's first in touchdowns. Like those are elite numbers.
He's completely eliminated your red zone issues you had a year ago, where you couldn't finish in the red zone, and sometimes they've not been able to this year because they get cute. But whenever you do put the ball in his hand on the goal line, he's usually falling in the end zone. I mean, there were times me and you were at the game Saturday night, and I was just like, that should not be a 5-yard game. That should not be a 5-yard and he's falling forward. He's a big dude that's long and
you don't
falls forward for yardage.
He don't have very many TFLs. He don't get tackled for loss. He's gonna lean forward and get a yard out of it.
I think if you went and looked at his advanced stats too, Coach, I think if he has a good game Saturday night, he will be a 1,000-yard rusher, yards after contact.
Wow. That was right there. That's crazy in itself.
Yeah. And then there's no telling, like, I'll go look. We'll have plenty to talk about because Sunday night too, because Ole Miss ain't playing, so we'll have to fill some time. I'll go look at some advanced stats on him because I'd love to know where he ranks in pass protection. Like he's a great at picking up blitz and stuff. So I would like to see just metrically and from an advanced stat standpoint where he doesn't have a direct impact with the ball in his hands. I bet he grades very high.
And I mean, and he's serviceable as a pass catching back as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he don't have a lot of yards, but he's a check down. He'll catch the ball.
Yeah, so he's been a
get in trouble. He's going to catch it.
Yeah.
And if you get him in space, he's a quick enough runner where he can get around you, but he's also powerful enough that one person is not going to bring him down. So that is what make this kid special. I think Lacy is a first round back in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm with you. Because he's a sophomore, Coach.
He is.
Yeah, he's a sophomore. We got him from Missouri, where I believe he had 29 carries as a freshman, I believe. Maybe more than that. I don't have the exact number. He didn't get a lot of carries. We got him from Missouri. We finished second recruiting him out of high school. It was between us and Missouri. We thought we had him. He ends up at Missouri, but we got him back, and he's a sophomore.
So he's not eligible yet. He's not a redshirt sophomore. Well, I think he's still going to be he is going to be a first round back, and I'm with you. Like I said, I don't want to go I don't want to go too deep into the keys of the game. We'll kind of wait till Sunday night and Wednesday before we talk about that. But I do want to look at a couple of college games. It's not very many. It's and I got to get better at this when Ole Miss is not playing. that I could get more pumped up. Oh, kudos to Northwest Community College. Bruce alumni, who's the head coach at Northwest, Coach Benji. There's another Benji, Coach Benji Park, who had nothing but success. He played at Bruce High School from 1990, 91, 92, and then 91, 92, they played in the state championship, lost to Taylorsville, lost to Philadelphia. But he won a state championship at Northwest last week. I don't know what their rankings are right now on the national level, or do they have the opportunity to get to the national championship, but they did complete the task and won another state championship. And, ever since he's been at Northwest, Parker has, I'm not going to say make you forget because you're never going to forget Bobby Franklin, but he's making a name for himself to where, hey, maybe the field is called Bobby Franklin Field, but I'm finna get me a Benji Parker statue somewhere.
Yeah, he's carving his own path.
Yeah, and kudos to them. Northwest, my alma mater.
I was gonna say I'm a Ranger, coach.
I'm a Ranger. You know, I tell people when you post it, if your NW ain't in lowercase and the CC ain't in capital letters, then you didn't go to Northwest, because that emphasis is NWCC. That's an emphasis on that. That's when you know somebody. It's almost like when Alabama got their Roll Tide, Ole Miss got the Hotty Toddy. You know, if you hear that NWCC, you know they really went to Northwest. So kudos to the Ranger, man. We another state championship for the Northwest Rangers. But as we look at the few games that I'm looking at right now, maybe Samford will pull off an upset. All right, all right. The only game in the early window that's even remotely relevant is Missouri and Oklahoma.
I think that's got a chance to be a good game, coach.
Yeah, because we still material. Bet the under. That's been winning every time. He is not putting up no numbers. And then Oklahoma's defense against that running. I need them to shut that running back down so we can keep Lacey at a level where he can get
to the top of the SEC.
Yeah. Yeah, we need Oklahoma to pick their defense up. But I do believe Oklahoma is a 6.5-point favorite. I think Oklahoma wins this by a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm curious. They talked about Missouri's quarterback possibly coming back from injury. We don't know. He's been out the last few weeks. I think it'll be a fun game to watch because clearly the strength of Missouri's the run game, and the clear strength of Oklahoma's defense is run defense. So, and then their defensive interior. I would probably lean the fact that I think especially if Perbula doesn't play, that just shows you how dependent Missouri would be on the run. So I would probably lean an Oklahoma win. I think that line 7.5.
It's 6.5.
6.5. I could see it falling between the margins, coach. I think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah. Well, the next one we got that has some relevance on the day is USC at Oregon. Not a cross country travel, and it's back to the old Pac-12 style of football for them. And you got Oregon as a 10.5-point favorite. Do you agree with that, Coach? Are they 10.5 points better than USC, or can USC go to Oregon and pull? I don't want to say an upset, but with the rankings, you just have to call it upset. Can USC go to Oregon and pull the upset?
I would like to think so. I think that Lincoln Riley's built a team that's, we've always known them as this like high flying offense and things and passing game and really fast, a lot of speed, but they couldn't really hold their weight defensively or on the offensive line. If they were very matchup dependent on their success. I think he's built a team that's built more to compete with the top of the Big Ten and make playoff pushes. But Oregon's getting some guys back from injury, and I think they're a different team. They get this game at home. I don't know about a 10.5-point favorite. I'm leaning Oregon for a win though, outright.
I mean, USC got probably I would say a Biletnikoff semifinalist in Lemon, and I mean with Bowles and possibly 2-3 more games. Well, I don't know if he can get to 100 catches. He's at 71 right now, but that gives them a chance. That gives them an opportunity. I'm gonna go
I think it's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out of the limb, and I think USC goes to Eugene, Oregon, and they beat Oregon by 3 points.
I could see it for sure, and if that happens, I would love to see. I'll be ready to see the college football playoff rankings after that because there'll be some shake up there. And this is it for USC. They have to win out.
It's their playoff game. That's the reason why I feel like they will have a different type, because when you get to these games where you got to win. This is the part I do love about the 12 teams, that it makes these regular season games mean so much more, because this game is important, and they're going to bring their. Lincoln Riley's going to bring his best package, his best plan to this game because of the way the playoff structure is set up. That now this regular season game is my playoff game, and I got to put my best foot forward. It's no longer of people just going through the motions and just doing whatever. You really have to put your best foot forward to get the games that you need to get on, to get in this relevancy of the playoffs. Syracuse, ain't no sense of me getting my hopes up. They're taking on Notre Dame. Notre Dame's a 35.5-point favorite. I will say this, Vandy, be careful.
Kentucky's shown some life the last few weeks.
Vandy, be careful. This is a trap game. Vandy, be careful. Kentucky has nothing to lose. Let me answer him. Joe, trust me, there will be no melting over here if Lane go to LSU.
Yeah, man, you got to go
That's
listen
what
to
y'all got to understand. It's not that Ole Miss fans is worried about losing Lane Kiffin. We just want the circus to end. Because once again, my brother, he hasn't done nothing at Ole Miss that no other coach has done or done differently. And he's in a different era. Kudos to him for being successful in his era. But for y'all to think as fans that Ole Miss fans are just going to lose their mind, if Lane go to LSU, good for him. Y'all will be firing him in 3 years, and then you'll be looking for another coach. We'll just get another coach because you're not going to win a state. You're not going to win a national championship with him. You're not. So all of this build up, or y'all going to be sad? No, we're not, brother. No, we're not. And like I said, you go back and get my tweets from 2022. It's just the all the circus stuff. That's what we're tired of, brother. That's what we're tired of. If he want to leave, he can leave. Ole Miss have always recovered. As long as we don't hire a position coach as head coach, I think we'll be fine, man. The last two position coaches ain't fared too well, coach.
We gotta push Joe into listening to the podcast, man, because you can find it wherever. I'm not gonna sit here and say there won't be some meltdown. I'm not gonna say that because it's a big fan base. I'm sure there's gonna be some meltdown. For us, man, I try to look at it as, I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna go to bed that night, wake up the next day, regardless of what happens, and life will go on for me. I just like coming on and talking about stuff and making a show.
And haven't y'all learned your lesson? Didn't y'all celebrate Brian Kelly? Didn't y'all already started buying rings when you had Kelly? Dude, just calm down.
Thank you for the follow, man.
Yeah, if you get them, that's fine, but you be aware of what you're coming into, because I'm finna tell you, and I'm finna warn everybody. The moment Alabama comes open, Lane Kiffin, I don't care where he at, he's gone.
I don't think Alabama will hire him. I think
they won't, but that's what he won't. I told you he reveres Nick Saban, and he won't go to Alabama.
I think there's two jobs in the SEC that are like, well, I'll say this: if you get everything right at Texas, there's three jobs in the SEC that are just a step above everything else. And that's Alabama, Georgia, and Texas. If you get Texas going the right direction, you get everything.
Do you think Georgia's more Kirby Smart and not just Georgia? Because
I think he's what got them over the hump. But I've never personally in my life, even in the Mark Richt era, I know they weren't winning championships, but they were in the and I know the SEC East was different, outside of a couple of runs with Florida. But
they wasn't like the West. Now the West was rough.
How many SEC championships did Mark Richt go to? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's a job. I still think that's a job, a brand. Kirby, and credit to Kirby because I think he's got him over the hump to build it into.
But think about what
more than what it was.
He had to deal with only Tennessee and Florida. That was it.
Yeah.
If he was in the West, you had to deal with Alabama, Auburn, Texas A&M, and Johnny Manziel. Every time I see A&M, I just see Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel, if I see you, you messed up my life for 2 years,
but
brother.
To make my point, though, regardless of if it's I'll put it to you this way. Regardless of what you think the Georgia job is with or without Kirby Smart, whatever you think about Alabama and Texas, I think that's 3 jobs that are not entertaining what this last 2 weeks have been. If they couldn't get they would not entertain this circuit.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting.
Because they like, hey, this our program is established. We don't need.
Yeah, they don't. You tell us yes, or somebody. They're like somebody's telling us yes. This program will win with or without you. That's their belief.
Well, to me, that's only Alabama. Alabama's like
you might be right. Texas might be strong to throw Texas in there. I just think that Texas, with all the money involved, if they ever got it,
that's more
on the same page. That's a scary job.
Yeah, that's more of the money thing. Is that ain't no money like Texas money.
Yeah,
and they got that Earl money. That Earl money will pull in some players, brother.
And you're finally starting to see it with Texas A&M. They finally figured it out.
Yeah. Yeah, crap. I mean, they had oil money so rich back then that SMU was giving it to Eric Dickerson. I mean, they've been having that oil money for a long time.
Right.
But other than that, Coach, there's not there's not many games. You got Pittsburgh going to Georgia Tech. You got Tennessee and Florida, but there's nothing in that. You got BYU going to Cincinnati. That could be.
I think BYU is going to beat them as bad as Texas Tech.
They only got them as a 2.5-point favorite.
I just don't think they're a good match. Like you think of what
is Vegas seeing though? Is somebody hurt? What is Vegas seeing?
I don't know. I just saw what I saw watching when I watched Cincinnati and Utah play. I just thought the matchup was bad.
That's low. That's low.
I'm telling you, BYU covers the 2.5. I think.
Well, they got to win, or they put themselves in a situation that they're eliminated, and then you put Cincinnati back into the mix of the Big 12 championship. And
my problem with Cincinnati is they just got completely ran through by Utah, and that's the same. That's the same formula that BYU is going to come after you with. They were able to just kind of pound Cincinnati and then hit them on some big plays because you got to. If you're getting just rolled through, you got to figure out a way to stop it, and I think that's kind of the formula that BYU can win with.
They went to Utah. You don't think being at home?
That's in Cincinnati. It could make a difference
because that air up there in that area is a little bit different.
Yeah.
But college football week. It's Saturday. It's football. We're gonna make the most out of it, and we're gonna watch it regardless. Anyway,
I'm sure I'll watch Alabama and Eastern Illinois for a minute.
Well, coaches, it's time to make our move to the next segment. It's time for a minute with the NFL. Man, that was loud. I gotta work on my stuff. Coach Shedeur Sanders will be starting this Sunday. Now, last week, Shedeur came in for Dillon Gabriel. Dillon Gabriel, I think he's in concussion protocol. And one of the things that I've been hearing from all of the former NFL players is that it is just very uncommon that a backup quarterback don't get any first-team reps in practice. Everybody that I've listened to, everybody that I've taught, everybody that I've heard, I even heard them talk about in Green Bay. They said when Brett Favre was there, if Brett Favre had 10 snaps, Aaron Rodgers was going to get 2. They said when Aaron Rodgers were there, and you know how arrogant them two were, that when he did, if he had 10, Matt Flynn would at least get 2. And Shedeur, until last week in that game when they threw him in with Baltimore, and man, I was so conflicted, Coach, because I wanted him to be successful, but at the same time, we need to win. So I didn't know what to do. And the last pass he threw, the back shoulder pass, they should have caught the ball. They should have won the game, Coach.
Yeah.
He threw I'm not going to say perfect, but he threw an amazing back shoulder pass that was dropped. He had the receivers had 5 drops. And I think that is not solely, but I think when you don't have no type of rapport, the spinning of the ball. Gabriel, isn't he left-handed?
Yes.
So, me personally, it is difficult for me to catch a left-hander. So if I've been conditioned to catch that left-hand ball, and then all of a sudden I switch to a right hand in the middle of the game, I'm not, they're professionals, so I don't give them no excuse for dropping the ball, but I get why they drop so many passes because now the trajectory of the ball is different. And now I think Gabriel is still in concussion protocol. So Shedeur will get his first start at Las Vegas this week. What would you think, just right off the top of your head? What would he have to do to either make it look like that he's legit and to silence everything, or is it just not nothing he can do?
I just think he's with a bad organization. I don't know. I mean, he'd have to really light it on fire to get a true shot, in my opinion, just because.
Well, he got the right team this week.
Yeah.
Because Vegas defense is horrible.
Yeah.
Their team is horrible.
And that's another thing, like, can they keep him upright to where he can do something? I don't think the Browns are very good up front. Maybe this is a good matchup to prove yourself. I don't know. I just think that it took us this long to get to this point where he's got the opportunity, where I think he might have been, take Flacco out of the situation. He was probably the better quarterback on the roster. I just think if you're setting him up for failure by not letting him get a start to this point,
yeah,
are you getting through a season, or are you trying to, like?
Because coaches, they got to make a decision eventually, man. Because
I think for him to be successful with a team like this anyway, they have to make changes to the roster as much as they can.
They got. And this was crazy, Coach. They had an opportunity to draft Travis Hunter, and did.
Yeah.
They could have had his favorite receiver in there with him. And because we saw NFL teams do this, where they get a quarterback, and they have even went to the point of contacting their college coaches. I believe, and I think you had brought this up, I believe the Giants did that. I think they contacted Ole Miss and said, okay, what is his best, what do he like to do with Jackson Dart? And I think they're going to start building that thing. And then once they get their framework built, then they go from there. I don't think they're going to do that for him. And it's going to be it's going to be the base. What Kevin Stefanski has got set and saying, Shedeur, go out there and run my stuff.
And that's my thing. Like, if you thought he was the future guy, why do you throw him out there from a X's and O's standpoint, like you just pointed to? And then probably if you believe he's the guy, I feel like that team's going to look vastly different in the future. So why are we throwing him out here? Why didn't you say, well, if he's our guy, by God, we're just going to go ahead and take our licks right now from week one? To me, you've just wasted a lot of time. And that's why I wonder if he can be successful in that organization, because you've wasted so much time for him. And that just seems like an organization where quarterbacks get a short window of opportunity, their career goes to die there, and they go draft again, and they start the process all over.
Coach, I don't know what the price on the tickets before he was announced starter. But right now, in the nosebleed seats, those tickets went up to $96.
And that can buy you some time too. If you're selling tickets, that can buy you some time.
The Shedeur effect. I don't even know if they're I don't know if they're in a flex situation or not. It got it listed for the 12 o'clock start time. The NFL do have the power to flex games, and they haven't made any changes so far. But and I don't think they're on national. They wouldn't be, because Vegas is. We usually get Saints games and your gracious Titans games, but I do believe that the Shedeur effect is going to now what he do on the field is to be seen. I do believe that he didn't get some of the same criticism, because I did see a couple of his passes and they were short. They was one hopped, and I think that they had and I think, but it's the Browns' fault because of the way they handled the situation, that people are more sympathetic to his development than they are going to be. I hate it for Dillon Gabriel. I wasn't a fan of him anyway, but I still think he was put in an unfair situation that now he's finna get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
And he's not gonna get anything. But this is gonna be huge. Um, Coach, they had already flexed it. They in an afternoon game now. This was a scheduled 12 o'clock game that has now been flexed to the
So
afternoon.
they feel like they're going to get some eyes.
Oh, the eyes are
get him in front of some eyes.
Whether even the ones that don't even know football, they know. Oh, poor Shedeur Sanders. They're gonna go watch it because he's been on the news so much, and that is gonna be that. There's 4 games in that afternoon window, and Cleveland and Las Vegas, who both, Coach, they're both 2-8, and they're about to get national spotlight at 2-8. Like they're both they're in the runnings with the Titans of who's going to get the number 1 pick, and the Giants, because the Giants are 2-9, the Jets are 2-8, Titans are 1-9, still holding on to that number 1 pick. Now, what they do with that number 1 pick, because you just drafted Cam Ward, you can't draft another quarterback. But we'll talk about that, I guess, in February. But another news that hit the NFL this week is Michael Penix, quarterback, well documented. He torn his ACL for the 3rd time, Coach. This is his 5th season-ending injury in his career.
He's been in the NFL that long?
No, just total. He's only been in the NFL for 2 years, but
I was gonna say I thought he was a rookie last year.
right. But he was an old rookie because he had missed so many games. He's been redshirted so many times because of injuries.
Yeah.
But this is the 3rd. Now it didn't specify which leg it was on, but we do know he only got 2 legs. So even if it's one of them was only one of them got 2.
Yeah.
But this is the 3rd ACL. And Coach, at this point, how do you advise? I mean, I know you love the game and you don't want the game to pass you by, but man, you got to think about your life outside of football.
Yeah, well, that many. If you said that's the 5th one.
This will be the 3rd.
The 3rd in 5 years.
It's the 5th season-ending injury, but this is the 3rd ACL tear.
I just wonder, with that many injuries, how long do you have to sit out before you got your body to a place where you knew you could go a season without one? And at that point, how much time have you wasted and burnt? The game. Like you just said, could the game pass you by in that time frame? Because it is one thing to come back a year or so, however long, to get back from a knee injury or something. It's different to have 5 season-ending injuries. I feel like that takes some time for your body to heal to a proper point where you can say, "Yeah, I am 100% healthy."
And I hate it for him because I thought it early on this year. I thought the Falcons were doing. I thought they was on the right track. You had a running back that he's not McCaffrey, but Bijan Robinson. He is a dual threat. I mean, it was one game he had more receiving yards than he had rushing yards.
Right.
And you got a good stable of receivers. You got London and Pitts have not really panned out to be what we thought he could have been. But I thought they had a good thing, and then you had a nice 1-2 punch with you got Bijan, and then you can go with Algier, and it just haven't panned out. And now with this injury, and now you got to bring in old 90-year-old Kirk Cousins again, and ain't it amazing he's still in the league? Like him and RG3 were drafted in the same draft, and he is still and making money because they had to drop off a bag to him this year when he made it to that roster spot. They had to drop a bag off to him.
He is the insurance policy.
Yeah, and it's probably good that they didn't get rid of him. So, but just the NFL's not, it's not a lot of news, and I got to get better. I even got my little visual stuff together for my NFL talk. I just haven't been able, but I will get more deep into the NFL here in the next couple of weeks, especially as we get into the December. And that's when I will start covering NBA. I always try to wait till the December before I started covering the NBA because I want don't want to call them meaningless games, but we got a lot of weird games. Like tonight, there are some weird games, and now there's so many players out, and you don't know who you're looking at, and it's just it's sometimes the pro game. I love the pro game, but sometimes the pro game it irritates you sometimes, and you look and like, man, won't y'all just play? But just a run through to the NFL games this weekend. Um, right now, you got the Buffalo Bills leading Houston 16-13. They going into halftime. Indianapolis, this is going to be a good one. Indianapolis is going to Kansas City. You got Pittsburgh going to Chicago. Come on, Bears, do me a favor. You got the 9-2 New England Patriots going to Cincinnati. There has been buzz about Joe Burrow coming back, but if I am the Cincinnati Bengals, I'm shutting Burrow down for the rest of the year. You're not going to make the playoffs. No sense of getting him re-injured. He is your franchise quarterback. Let Flacco ride this thing on out, and just pay him. You got the New York Jets traveling to Baltimore. Will make whoever Tyrod Taylor looked like Peyton Manning that day. The Seattle Seahawks 7-3 are traveling to Nashville. I heard you going to Nashville this weekend, Coach. You might as well go up there and watch the game, man.
Couldn't pay me enough money to. I'll sit behind and cheer that they will get that number one pick, and then I'll just then begin to pray that they don't.
Let's say that
screw it up.
Who do you go with that? Who is the number one pick right
now? I don't know. It's too early for me to get into. I would have to look into it. I don't even know. Like, there's so many holes on that roster. Like, I think you could pretty much, outside of quarterback, you could just about. They need receivers. They need linemen.
That's why I would trade that number one pick and package me some picks. I would just package me some picks
and I guess if you've got a number one pick, you can leverage it into getting stuff like that. It's a front office that I just don't have enough. I don't know if I have enough faith in them to pull something like that off.
Well, we ain't been the same since Ozzie Newsome left, so I kind of understand what you're going through. You got Minnesota 4-6 traveling to Green Bay. You got the New York Football Giants traveling to Detroit. You got the Jacksonville Jaguars going to Arizona. You got Cleveland traveling to Las Vegas. You got the Atlanta Falcons going to New Orleans in the Dust Bowl. And you got the Philadelphia Eagles going down to Jerryland to take on the Cowboys. Sunday Night Football will be Tampa Bay. This will be a good one. Tampa Bay versus the LA Rams. And then Monday Night Football, you got the Carolina Panthers traveling to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. Well, Coach, man, that is our show for tonight, man. And I think we got a lot off our chest tonight. We was able to get some things going, man. We was able to discuss some things, and hopefully the next time we're on,
we'll have an answer.
Either way. Now
I want to answer. I want to respond to something on TikTok real quick. Steven, and I don't know if he's still in here, but Steven says Lane's playing a recruiting game. The longer LSU and Florida go without a head coach, the better for Ole Miss. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. And it is, I mean, why? You know what would sound better right now if you're recruiting for Ole Miss? Hey, we're about to go compete for a national championship.
Yeah.
Florida and LSU have no idea who their head coach is next year. There's stories out on different beat writers for the Rebs have pretty much all but confirmed that recruiting has come to a halt.
Yeah.
Today, Lane Kiffin, I think, went and made a push for I guess like a motivational speech to his coaching staff to go recruit. So I don't believe this has helped recruiting one bit, especially when you got a program that you can sell is a win away on the Egg Bowl from winning 50 games over 5 years. That average is winning 10 games a year. I think your program can sell itself.
And Coach, even in that comment right there, that would be like when they said Suge Knight set up Tupac to get killed. You're gonna get shot too, buddy. So it wouldn't have made sense for me to set you up to get shot, knowing that I could possibly get killed too. So even using that theory, you're messing up yourself as well.
And but I get that it's out there, and I get where it's something that's you would love to get behind it. It'd be awesome if that's true if you're an Ole Miss fan. But guys, there's no you're going to damage your entire reputation to try to, LSU and Florida is going to get their coach eventually. They're still two of the hottest open jobs right now If I feel like if Kiffin's not made a decision with one of them or both of them potentially by the end of the Sunday after the Egg Bowl, they can just move on and go hire somebody. You know, you're not hurt. You're hurting yourself.
And they don't lose nothing from their fan base because, okay, we didn't get them. Okay. You stand.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm worried about Scott Strickland if he don't bring Kiffin home. Like they've been tired of him. This was
LSU.
No, Florida. They were mad about, they did not want Napier. I'm genuinely concerned for him if he doesn't pull the Kiffin thing off as much, for weeks now. They still firmly believe they have him. And I think if there's a school that's out, it is Florida.
LSU is either.
I think it's Ole Miss or LSU, and I think
or the NFL. Or he could be going to coach volleyball at Valparaiso State. I don't know.
But we'll have plenty more time to talk about it because I don't feel like we're going to find a thing out tomorrow that matters.
And we'll be right back where we started at, and I will be mad again because that's who I am. I am the angry coach, and I stay angry a lot. Well, Coach, man, I'm in full effect in basketball. South Pontotoc messed up my life last night. They was like a juggernaut, but we did beat Hucker, so we are 1-1. But man, last night did not go good at all. So, but we got the holidays. We're gonna get some turkey in our system. We're gonna get some running in our system, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna play Vardaman. Yes, but man, we thank everybody that was on with us tonight. Those that was on with us, chatting with us on Facebook. We appreciate y'all. Governor, I see you, man. I see you. Appreciate you, Darren. You're crazy, but I'm gonna roll with you, man. Blake, Hunter Cox, Coley Cole, man. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Big Run Hooper. Appreciate everybody that chatted with us. Everybody that was with us on TikTok, man. Y'all got so many code names. I don't know what to say, so I'm scared to say your name on that. But make sure that you follow us on TikTok. Follow us on our Facebook page. Go to Spotify. Go to Amazon Podcast. Go to Apple Podcast. Click on the Coaching Coach Podcast so you will not miss an episode. That guy beside me is the coach. He's the offensive coordinator, Coach Benji. I'm the little guy. I'm the defensive coordinator. I'm Coach Mark. We make up the Coaching Coach Podcast. And until we see you again, y'all keep on rolling.